Alright, just getting myself all warmed up here. Got ourselves a dungeon to go into after all. Isn't that right, Emo Graha? I don't know if this looks like Emo Graha to anybody else, but like, I just saw this guy standing here, and I was like, is that yet another person trying to be like Graha? And then I like looked at them more, and I was like, Emo Graha! Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of people, but like, it just looks like Emo Graha to me. Also, this person that just walked up, she's pretty cute. That's an interesting outfit. I don't think I've seen that outfit before. I don't know. I don't think I recognize it anyway. Omega Gambison. You know, I don't know that I ever really looked at any of the Omega gear. That's cool. Sorry, getting sidetracked. So yes, we are headed onward into the Aether font. I did say it correctly this time. Aether font. I think I'm just gonna bring the default party. I don't see any reason not to. So, because I am okay with this group. As much as I do want to see Varshan as a DPS, I really like the idea of doing these with Zero. So it's either, you know, Varshan is my tank, or Thancred is. And honestly, I'm fine with either. It doesn't really matter to me, you know. So, into the Aether font we go. I'll probably want to use something from this as my thumbnail. The Northern Empty, the Aether font. I mean, it looks really neat. Starting off on a little bit of ice here. Go ahead and dance partner with Zero. Let's get moving. We are indeed doing just that. Getting moving. Getting schmoovin'. I hate being zoomed out like this, but I have noticed that it's better for like seeing things. I just really dislike being this zoomed out. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a term for it, you know, because every phobia has a term, right? But whatever it is, I haven't like looked it up. It's just, I don't know, distance like bothers me. It's not a fear of heights, I should note. Because it's not just, you know, height that bothers me. It's distance in general. You know, when there's a great distance between me and whatever else, or if it feels like there's a great distance, it like bothers me. And I don't know if some of that might be due to my lack of depth perception, but I actually have no depth perception. I mean, my brain knows how to discern death to some degree, just because it's learned. But because I only have one eye, I don't have the ability to actually like see depth. And so I'm curious if some of my like fear of like distance comes from just the fact that I can't tell how far away things are. And so it's like, oh yeah, you know, this thing is, you know, X far away, but because I can't tell that it's that far away, you know, sometimes it might appear further or something, you know. And so it creates this, like, you know, like, as a good way of, I don't know if it's a good way, but as an example of, like, what I'm trying to say, when I was a kid, I had a bed that had these, like, metal bars on it. It was called a day bed. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. But basically, like, it had bars on, like, the backside. You know, where it, like, went up against the wall. And then, like, it had, you know, like, support, you know, like, edges. Like, you know how most beds have, you know, the like, you know, the front, the head, and then, like, the, I don't know what the terms are. But, like, the, you know, there's, like, the front and the back that are, like, separate, you know, that have, like, big supports. I'm just gonna say supports. Hopefully that makes sense. But, like, this one had that on, like, one of the sides as well. So, like, only one side of the bed was actually, like, open, you know, to get out of. You couldn't, like, put it in the middle of the room, right? Because you could only, you know, get off of it on one side. So you just put it up against the wall. But, so I had this bed that had, you know, bars on the one side. And I would lie in bed, and I'd be looking towards the side that was up against the wall. You know, the bars there that's up against the wall. And, like, I would stare at it, and it would, like, slowly get further and further away from me. Like, it wasn't actually moving, but, like, I would get this sense that it was, and, like, it was getting further and further away. Lingbakur. Let's see. What is that? Lingbakur. Lingbakur, dread beast of the seas. Lingbakur, huh? Also, at some point, Songkrit said, that building looks the part. And Arianje said, a chalet facility, no mistake. I don't know when that was said. Probably when they were looking at this. So. I wonder if we're gonna get the usual ending, or if we're gonna get the new, or the usual, like, boss theme for the final boss, or if we're gonna get the new one that they've been doing. Ice shards begin to resonate. Upsweep. I assume I want to be away from the ice shards. Yep, ice shards begin to resonate. Whoa, big boom. Flood's tide. Sorry, obviously I'm a little focused on, you know, trying to learn new boss here. So that I can't, like, you know, talk the same way I was. Where is safe? It's gonna follow them. Oh, the little ones explode faster. I get it. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, there are many, like, ice shards. The little ones explode faster. Got it. Now, after doing, the new Pandemonium, I'm like, man, you know, like, I'm in learn mode right now, because I did, like, I had to learn for the new Pandemonium. 2, 4, boom. Over here. But yeah, I don't know if I don't know. Oh, there we go. I don't know if, like, some of how I like, discern distance is part of the problem, you know? So, like, I don't know if there's something in the way that my brain perceives distance, because I've only got one eye that works. I mean, I have both eyes, I just only got one eye that works, right? So I don't know if there's something in that that's like, this is why, you know, sometimes, you know, it feels like things are moving and getting farther away and getting closer or whatever, you know. Or if any of that plays into, like, why I have this fear of, like, being zoomed out or distant or, you know. Because again, it's not height that bothers me. It's just being too far away in general. And so, like, being zoomed out like this can kind of make me struggle a lot. As long as I don't, like, focus heavily on my character, I don't really notice that I'm zoomed out. But, like, once I'm done with this dungeon, like, I'll zoom back in. Like, you'll see that I'll zoom back in. So, because then I'm focusing on, like, my character, and then I zoom back in, you know? So, because it actually starts to bother me while I'm not, like, actively doing stuff here, so. Trolls. Like, so here's a thing that I'm currently dealing with, which is, I have a D&D group, right? And in D&D, trolls are these creatures that cannot come out during the day. Like, they turn to stone, like, permanently if they go into sunlight, right? And so I'm like, I have this D&D group, and we're playing D&D, you know, but, like, there's stuff in my world that doesn't match up with D&D, and I'm just like, so do I utilize these things because we're playing, I mean, we'll be going into Pathfinder soon, right? Will probably be in Pathfinder by the time this episode airs. We decided, after everything that Wizards of the Coast has done lately, we said to just decide to screw 5th edition. They're just like, you know what, forget it. So I have effected a curious change upon yonder golems. There's such a thing as too much ether. Those are some very bright golems, not gonna lie. But like, so, you know, in D&D, and I think even in Pathfinder, but like, the standard idea for Troll, right, is that they don't come out at night. Or they don't come out during the day, you know, because they turn to stone during the day. So, like, since I'm running D&D, you know, like, as the DM, do I have the right to be like, no, this is my universe, trolls can come out during the day? Or is it one of those like, well, unfortunately you're playing D&D and you kind of have to stick to D&D rules, you know? Like, how much as a DM are you allowed to just completely change things, you know? Because you know the players are like, oh, I'm playing Pathfinder, so therefore it stands to reason that the creature... Whoa, this isn't frame lag. You know, it stands to reason then that the creatures that we're fighting are going to act like this because that's how they act in Pathfinder. Or that's how they act in D&D 5th edition, you know? So, like, how much are you allowed to, like, subvert that, you know? And be like, yes, normally, but this is my world, you know? So, it works differently, you know? Basically what I'm asking is, can trolls come out during the day just because it's my world? Or do I need to adhere to those rules that trolls can only come out during the night? You know? And where did that even, like, did that originate in D&D? Or did that originate elsewhere, you know? AUKUS. It's rather too high for my comfort, I must confess. Doesn't look like the type to welcome house guests. Trying to read their dialogue, part of why I'm doing this with NPCs. Because, you know, there's unique dialogue for NPC, well, with the NPCs. But also, I mean, like, I also just want to, like, go, you know? Whoa, okay. Interesting. I think I get that. It's like, don't stand on the track, because that's where the lightning is, right? And then I think it just did another lightning leap that time. So, like the first time there. Spinning claw! Like, hill giants are stupid. So, like, in D&D, am I allowed to say, like, my hill giants in my world are not stupid? I don't think I would, because I like them being stupid, you know? But, like, let's say, you know, like, how much is, like I said, how much is the DM allowed to subvert you know, the expectations of a monster in in that edition, right? In that game platform edition, that whatever, you know. I'm just curious. And I'm sure that you know, if I get any answers based off comment, you know, if I get any comments and I get any answers, I'm sure that, like, I'll get multiple answers. Like, some people being like, yes, it's fine. And then other people being like, no. You know. But still, you know, I'm curious. What is your viewpoint, you know? I still haven't figured out if I'm supposed to use those, like, separately in that way or not. Or if I'm supposed to be, like, using them together. Whew. That wasn't so bad. Pair of distance gauntlets of fending. Ooh. 625. Okay. So, like, this dungeon has gear that is better than basically all of my classes currently have. So that's good to know. Because, like, most of my gear is 610 or 620, you know? Because I just have either Renaskita, the hypostatic, or, you know, whatever from freaking Euphrasia. Or I might have, like, an augmented Renaskita somewhere, you know? So it's good to know that while I'm doing this on the expert roulette, I might actually need to need roll on some of these things. So I looked into the new, like, crafter gear. I don't remember what it was called. But the new version of the gear that you can buy from crafters, like the Renaskita gear was. I looked into that, and I don't know if it's because it's day one, and thus, you know, prices are going to just go down over time. But, like, when I looked at the price for the new gear on the market board, people were selling 5 million gil for one piece of gear. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, are people really gonna pay 5 million for one piece of gear? Like, that's insane if they do. Like, legitimately, that is insane. Because, like, you don't need that at all. Like, first off, it's, I think, 640 gear. You know? Which, admittedly, is a bit stronger than the 630 that we currently, you know, had from the past patch. But, like, is it really that much of an improvement? You know, 630 to 640? Like, maybe 610 to 640 would be an improvement. But I'm still not gonna go spending 5 million gil on one piece of gear. You know? I mean, I have 5 million gil right now. You know? Like, I don't need that much of a boost that fast. This dungeon clearly gives 625 gear. You know? Like, if I want an improvement, I can just do this dungeon multiple times. Whoopsie, that was the wrong button. I hit 1 thinking I had shift held down. I did not. Because, you know, I have shift 1 is my standard step. and I have an Avant, or however you pronounce it, as just 1. And I thought I had shift held down. Thus I would have started the dance, standard step. But that was not the case. So, unfortunately, the NPCs do not do AoEs, and so things are a little bit slower in that regard. But, I mean, I am trying to drop AoEs to kind of help. You know, make it a little faster. So, I swear though, if I start doing expert roulette and I see people wall-to-walling this dungeon, like, this is you're insane. You know? I guess that's why you would spend the 5 million gil apiece, because once you have that, you probably can wall-to-wall. And so everybody who wants, you know, to wall-to-wall will be like, yes, but you see, I've got to get the big gear immediately, because I can't take, you know, an extra 2 minutes on the dungeon. So I should totally run expert roulette after this on my Sage and see what happens. You know, see if I get like this dungeon. Although, I have this Starfall dance. I don't know what triggers it. Like, I never see it activate. So I don't know what the point of it is. Or, like, what triggers it or anything. But apparently it's a level 90 ability. But I've never seen it activate. And I'm sure somebody's going to be like, how are you playing this without Starfall Dance? I'm just like, what activates it? Oh look, it's the Kraken. Octo Mammoth, Slumbering Scourge. It is, it's the new music. Interesting. I figured that was just because it was the freaking Archfiends. But no, this seems to just be the new theme for battles. So that's cool. Ba-da-da-da-da. Like the new battle theme for bosses. Alright, let's see how this goes. Well, I mean, immediately offhand, it doesn't have, like, tentacles being separate. So that's neat. That always annoyed the frick out of me about the Kraken. Octo Stroke. Okay, I think I get that. You watch where its tentacles are. Okay, and they go out in like a cone. Interesting. I can definitely see the NPCs like did me dirty there for a split second, but because they ran me right, like I was following them. They ran me right into that freaking, you know, tentacle there, but it's fine. Oh. What is this? Telekinesis. Oh, frick. Ow. Huh. So, this octopus is psionic, so that's interesting. Rest stroke. Whoa! That was pain, by the way. That hurt. Okay, it's doing its psionic move again. Doing another telekinesis. This is one reason I do like Dancer, though. Because I'm able to just, like, focus on what's going on around me instead of having to focus hard on my skills. And maybe that's just because I've done Dancer so much. But generally I'm able to focus on, you know, what's going on over focusing on my skills so much. I get it. I get it. Got it. Got it. Yeah, I didn't realize that Thancred, like, was off on the side there. And that I could dodge by standing here last time. So it's like, oh crap! I've got to run all the way over there! But no, I didn't have to. Totally didn't notice them run back to the center. Oh god, I wonder if that's gonna be a thing that, like, players are gonna even do. Just be like running back to the center. Got him! And like, if that, like, that might be the biggest source of wipes. People don't run back to the center, and so then they get wiped because freaking you gotta be on one of the sides. And so then they have to run from side to side, you know? And freaking they wipe because of that. I know for a fact that I wouldn't even think about it if the NPCs weren't doing it, so we'll have to see how it goes when I actually run it normally, you know? But that was good. That taught me quite a bit. I still don't really understand the fight. There was a lot of things that I didn't quite get. But I'll figure it out as we go along, so. Distance Quirus of Fending. So all of these are called distant. All of this is called distance gear, which is odd, but okay. But yeah, so this is 625, but I think my tank already has augmented Lunar Envoy gear. Just cause, like, I started to run out of, like, things to buy with the green, the astronomy or whatever it is, the causality. And I wasn't getting the, you know, weapons from Abyssos, because I really wasn't running it, so it was just like, I'm like, I've got the, you know, Aglaia coin, I've got the Euphrasia coin, I've got the causality, you know, so what am I gonna freaking buy? So sometimes I would just buy gear instead of buying Yeah, I'd wait till I got to like 1,000 tomestones and I'd be like, I need to use these.
早速エーテルの充填作業を進めさせてもらうぜ。
Ether tanks.
満タンまで入れるにはちっとばかし時間がかかる。悪いが終わるまで周りを見張っておいてくれるか。
Mario?
他にも魔物がいたらおっかねえしよ。
I know I heard Mario in there.
あ、そうだ。充填したタンクはどこで使う予定だ？近くだったらこのまま飛空艇で届けてやれるが。
ガレマルドのバブイルの塔へ運びたいのだ。
Tower of Babel.
はは。とすると、あちらさんへ救援物資を運ぶ定期便に乗せた方が航路に慣れてて安心だな。
Ooh, alright.
よっしゃ、戻り次第すぐに手配しといてやるよ。あんな重てえもんチョコボだって乗せたがらねえからな。
Sounds good.
協力に感謝する。君たちの行為を決して無駄にはしまい。
We appreciate it, Coco. Absorb that ether.
「順調そうだな。お前たちだけでも大丈夫だったんじゃないか?"
I mean, you were the tank, but
その言葉の根底にあるものは何だ？
hmm?
庇護しているわけではないが、突き放しているわけでもない。力による脅しや契約によって作られた関係では決してそんな風にはならない。答えろ。お前たちの間にあるつながりは何なんだ？
俺にとってのこいつらとのつながりか。そうだな。たとえどこの空の下にいても、あいつならきっと大丈夫だと信じられること。盲信や諦めじゃない。相手の生き方を、思いを知ってるからこそ、おのずとそう思えてくるんだ。そんな信頼こそが俺たちをつないでる。言葉にすると月並みかもしれないがな。
She's like, huh. Trust.
思い出した。知っている言葉だ。だが忘れ去るほど久しく使わなくなっていた。用意同士の取引やゼノスとの契約にはなかったもの。闇の反乱前の時代ですら、メモリア戦争に身を投じた私たちにそれは存在しなかった。味方だったはずのメモリア使いが闇の力に魅入られ、あっさりと裏切るんだ。珍しくもない、ありふれた出来事だった。だから誰もが一人一人で戦って、そして闇に敗れたんだ。私はお前たちのようなつながりを、信頼を誰かと結んだことがない。それはどうすれば手に入る？
That's a really good question, actually.
こいつのそばにいれば いずれわかるだろうさ。ほらな、お前たちは大丈夫だろ。
Yep.
おや、もうお話はよろしいので。あれは俺には青臭すぎる。島を出次第裏方に戻らせてもらうぞ。その前に一つ。ウレンジャー、お前にもあの話が来たか？ええ、依頼人はシャーレアンの賢人をご所望だとか。他国を広く回り、表向きは所属のない我々に白羽の矢が立ったようですね。引き受けるとなったらお前と一緒だろうな。その時は頼むぞ、大先生。
Somebody is seeking archons. Alright. Enter the Aether front. Completed! Now we just wait to, have whoever we need to talk to spawn in here. There it is, Urianger. So it's possible that some of these people are in this. Likely any of the people that are facing forward instead of backwards. Like, this person with the red hair here is probably in this cutscene. Whereas Kana here is probably in the cutscene for the dungeon. So... interesting. Sorry, I'm just fascinated by, like, how many people are here. And I'm just trying to see if I can, like, guess where they are in the quest line. To not only allow us use of the tanks, but to arrange their transportation to Garlemald besides. Blessed are we to count Kokul among our allies. Unto thee we must also give thanks, Thancred, for coming to our aid on such short notice. Please, I'm always happy to help. Don't hesitate to call on me again. I don't need any of these. They're all level 9 materials, so... Till next time. Bye, Thancred. You may now enter the Aether front with a party of NPC avatars. Thancred has been added to the Unending Codex. Ooh. I didn't realize that he wasn't in the Codex. Member of the Scions, Thancred grew up in the back streets of Limsa Leminsa and spent his adolescence snatching purses with a band of petty thieves. One day he targeted a Lazan man who had come to the maritime city-state to study Aether. Unbeknownst to Thancred, that man was Louis-Sois Levieux, and just as the boy drew near, the Archon sent him flying to the cobbles. Caught red-handed, Thancred was certain he would be tossed onto one of the city-state's prison holds. Instead, Louis-Sois offered him an alternative. Use his God's-given agility to aid his fellow man. Thus the Midlander boy returned with the Archon to Charlayan, and there began to study survival and intelligence-gathering techniques. He became an expert in both, then an Archon, and then a member of the Circle of Knowing. In the years leading up to the 7th Umbral Calamity, Thancred was dispatched to Ul'dah on a mission of paramount importance. He would work surreptitiously to undermine the interests of the Garlean Empire, who had begun preparations for a future campaign of conquest in Eorzea. In the course of his duties, he was present at a parade during which a Gobu broke free and rampaged through the city. resulting in the death of a man named Warburton. Though his identity as a double agent for the Empire and Alamegan resistance were of particular interest, Warburton's true legacy would be Acelia, the daughter he left behind, and for whose welfare Thancred thenceforth felt personally responsible. While Thancred wanted to ensure Acelia's safety and well-being, his responsibilities meant that he could not act as a proper guardian. The songstress Philomen instead adopted her. Now Thancred made a point to visit when he could, as well as bestow upon her a new name to help hide her from her father's enemies. Thus did she come to be known as Minfilia Ward, and while she grew older over the years, part of him always saw her as that crying child in the streets, a daughter for whom Thancred should have done more. In the wake of the calamity, fate would see both Thancred and Minfilia join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. He is a member, and she is their leader. Thancred was instrumental in many of the Scions' victories, but the events that followed the Bloody Banquet would forever change him. While holding off pursuers with Y'shtola during their escape from Ul'dah, the mage cast a forbidden spell to facilitate a swift escape. There were consequences, however, and his journey through the life stream saw him lose his ability to properly control ether and magic. Yet what pains him far more was the loss of Minfilia, who had gone missing in the chaos. His grief was further compounded when he learned she had been summoned to Heidelin's side to serve as the word of the Mother, a vessel for the deity's will, and one seemingly devoid of Minfilia's. And the two were reunited after the Scions clashed with Ardbert and the Warriors of Darkness, where Urianger called upon Heidelin to intercede on behalf of the first. Hearing this earnest appeal, the word of the Mother appeared and resolved to journey with the fallen champions unto their world and save it from the flood of light. Though Heidelin spoke through her, Thancred realized to his relief that Minfilia was still present. But this joy was tempered by the understanding that they would soon part ways once more. Bitter though it was, Thancred accepted this outcome, for he knew that Minfilia would make him proud. Thancred was the first of the Scions called to Norvant by the Crystal Exarch. After his arrival, he learned of how the Word of the Mother had sacrificed herself, and of the existence of the Oracle of Light, a girl who had inherited Minfilia's name and soul both. To save her from a life of imprisonment, he breached the jails of Yulmore. By the way, that's how you spelled jail in olden times. To save her from a life of imprisonment, he breached the jails of Yulmore and took her into hiding. He taught the Oracle how to fight and survive, and continued to care for her well after the other Scions joined him on the first. Though their relationship was complicated, no matter how daunting the foe, the two would stand together. But Thancred believed he had found in the Oracle another chance, another daughter, for the one he had lost. And when she found the strength to stand for herself and not be defined by Minfilia's legacy, Thancred would bestow upon her a new name, Rhine, his blessing. Now returned to the source, Thancred continues to fight for the future of the star Minfilia loved so much. He often travels with his boon companion, Urianger, who notes that Thancred has developed a habit of gazing at the night sky, a smile on his face as he considers the stars. No one can only speculate what he is thinking in those moments. Urianger likes to believe his thoughts are of Rhine, and that no matter the distance between them, in his heart, they are never far apart. Aw, that's sweet, actually. I like that. I like all of these. Like Fear to Flame, it is time to proceed to the next stage of your plan. With the tank's transportation thus arranged, our first task is complete. We may now turn our attention to the second, to wit, obtaining the blessing of the Ilsabard contingent, to use the Tower of Babel to channel energy under the moon. Our destination is Camp Broken Glass, where we may present our petition to Commander Lucia. Alright. Camp Broken Glass. I still think it's funny, though, that going to literally 10,000 years in the past only costs 1,000 gil. Like, the money cost is very clearly based off of expansion and not by, like, placement of, you know, the location you're going to. Ooh. There's no players over here. Also, considering there wasn't a cutscene in that last area, everybody that was watching cutscene was more than likely watching the introduction to the Aether font there. Kassandra, allow me to personally thank you for your assistance during the recent Void Scent incursion. Your action saved many. What brings you here today? Pray forgive us for not sending word in advance, Commander, but we seek your cooperation in a matter of great import. We need to send, like, gallons of ether up to the moon. Also, I know I'm not doing the voice for Varshan that I did, like, all the other times. I don't remember how I did that. Indeed, we appreciate you consulting with us instead of taking unilateral action. Tis no simple matter to activate the Tower of Babel, and I speak not only of the technological challenges. Personally, I think we must consider the emotional impact of such an action above all else. Though we have yet to re-establish a governing body, we provisionally refer to those who remain here as the Garlean community. As you would expect, there are predominantly native Garleans, most of whom are uncomfortable with ethereal manipulation. To compound matters, the trauma inflicted by Anima is still fresh. If the tower were to suddenly light up again, it is like to cause distress and reopen old wounds. Better than facing a mass invasion by Golbez and his void-sent horde, surely. Of course, we acknowledge the gravity of the situation, as well as the promised bloodshed should we fail to act. Yet, even were we to convey your warning to the public, many simply do not understand the workings of magic or the rift. They will struggle to comprehend why they must be forced to relive personal horrors for the sake of something they cannot imagine. What's there to imagine? Haven't these people seen Void Scent with their own eyes? Let us suppose you encounter someone who is freezing in this cold. A natural thing to do might be to make them a fire, yes? But what if that person's sole experience with fire was being badly burned by it, and they harbored an acute fear? Despite the benefits, nay, the necessity of the warmth you offer, they may flee on instinct, or worse, misinterpret your actions for aggression and lash out. So like the fire that torments this individual, the Tower of Babel torments the people of Garlemald. Yet we cannot afford to falter here. We must find a way to help them overcome their fear. I agree. To that end, the contingent will assist however we can. We should speak with Elfino and Elisei. With the rapport they have established with the Garlean people, I dare say they can provide us with valuable insights. I think I'm getting closer and closer to it each time. In the meantime, Urianger, might I ask that you remain here to oversee the technical aspects of the tower's activation? Alright. Speak with Elfino at Tatium. That's really not that far away. I don't think I need to pop a freaking etherite just to go there. Like, it's just right here, you know? So, I do need to go more to the north, though. 'Cause I'm pretty sure it's under, like, this mountain or something to that degree. Like, it's underneath a, like, mound or a mountain or something like that. I just don't remember. Also, thanks to the Tombstone event, I now have all of the bird mounts. So I ended up getting the big one, which is great. Here it is. It's not the giant mountain. It's the teeny tiny little one that's over here. I was looking at the wrong thing. Right. But it's underneath that, so I have to go over here. Like, I know how to get here. I've definitely done this multiple times. You know, come here and left here. Definitely. Like, I should absolutely know where I'm going. I just may not be able to see very well because that freaking bird is so bright. It's so glowy and bright. I'm glad to see you, Kassandra. Vithro has explained our present dilemma. 'Tis no unfound certain that the Garleans... sorry, weird way of phrasing that. 'Tis no unfound concern. That's why it seemed odd. 'Tis no unfound concern that the Garleans might take poorly to the reactivation of the Tower of Babel. That's putting it mildly. Many would be up in arms over it. Trust in the Ilsabard contingent is fragile enough. We need to tread lightly, or we risk jeopardizing everything we've achieved. Trust again. It is true. Well, it seems to me there's naught for it but to speak with the people. Rather than harping on about the necessity of the plan, we need to lend an ear to their concerns. Then, perhaps, we can begin working towards a compromise. That's a good idea. In that case, I'll take you to meet the community leaders at a station called Senatus, near the Cenaculum Imperialis. I would be honored to speak with them, though it would be prudent to learn where people elsewhere stand as well. But that I will leave to the others, save Zero. Might you accompany me? I'm sure those in Tapper's Den will have their own opinions. Alphino, if I may drag you along. Tertium will leave to you. You are no stranger to the people here, so it should take little prodding to convince them to speak freely. Sure. Then it's settled. Once you've learned what you can, let's all meet in Forum Solius, where we'll have what I hope is a productive discussion. Hope so. Oh, that's a lot of people to talk to. Let's talk to Malleus. Activate the Tower of Babel? Are you out of your mind? That abomination transformed my friends and family into monsters. I can't even bear to look at it whenever I step outside. If you want to do something for us, tear the bloody thing down. I mean, I'm kind of not surprised that somebody is actually thinking that. It does feel odd that we haven't done anything about it yet. Whatever its present state, the Imperial Palace was once the pride of Garlemald. I mean no disrespect to you and yours, but shouldn't the Garlean people be its caretakers instead of foreigners? Though if we dared speak thus to some of the contingent, they might make assumptions, cut our rations, or worse. No, forget I said anything, please. Ah, that's gonna be part of it. right there. We're gonna leave it to the Garleans to take care of it. The Tower of Babel? But what's it got to do with Void Scent? I can't say I understand. Still, your people have done much and more for us Garleans. If you say it's necessary, then that's good enough for me. They could have at least aimed him towards the door. He walked into the corner and disappeared. Like, they could have at least pointed him towards the door as he walked out. That was funny. Fie! The tower isn't right, I tell you. All those magics. Years ago, when I lived in the provinces, the locals raised our village to the ground with the stuff. Made things appear and disappear and fly and burn. Can't sit still. Can still see it when I close my eyes. You've done us a good turn, dear, but let's not talk about that tower any longer. It's unnatural. A serious lad. No, stop it. The tower is evil. It'll turn us all evil. I don't want to hear it. Leave me alone. I mean, that's not too surprising that they would feel like that, so... Ooh. I don't remember what mount this is, but neat. This is a drake of some kind. I know that much. It might be the Elbis drake. I just remember that I have two that look similar to this. One of them has fire breath, one does not. So... But then one, I think, is a drake, whereas the other is not, so... Julius is on his way with the others. I hope he found the people more receptive than we did. Not particularly, no. Not particularly. Kassandra, may I present to you Lords Neus and Metius, magistrates of our political council. They have been spearheading the efforts to establish a new system of government here. When we raised the subject of the Tower of Babel, they insisted that we speak no further until joined by representatives of the Ilsabard contingent. I see Elfino and Alice have yet to arrive, though, so perhaps we should wait. It doesn't matter if only some of you are present. We simply wish to make one thing perfectly clear. The tower is the manifestation of Garlean ingenuity and authority. It was once the abode of the imperial family, and it will forever bear tremendous cultural significance. It is insulting enough that we've had to suffer foreigners occupying it under the guise of rendering aid, and now you propose reactivating it? Nay, we have had enough. The Garlemald of old may have fallen, but she fell in civil war to her own people, not to Eorzea, nor any other land. We came here to assert our unequivocal claim to our territory. Garlemald, and all that lies within her bounds, is beholden to no one. Like fear to flame. I mean, I'm not too surprised. Let's be honest. The fallen empire, Julius is eager to get out of the cold. Since their excellencies are resolved to negotiate with the contingent, I will escort them to Tertium. I'll also instruct Elfino and Elisei to meet us there. Lord Metius, Lord Neus, by your leave, my comrades are... Oh, wait. No, excuse me. This is Varshan. Lord Metius, Lord Neus, by your leave, my comrades and I would speak with the residents of Senatus. Though the Ilsabard contingent holds the Tower of Babel, it is I who wishes for it to be reactivated, and thus I think it meets that I be present for this discussion. Yet my understanding of your people's hardships, of their hopes and desires, of their dreams for the future, is sorely lacking. In my ignorance, I would struggle to contribute. Lest you worry, I will not plead our case to the community in your absence. I wish only to identify common ground, upon which we might build a relationship that sees us overcome our differences. Very well. Or wait, no, this is, Naeus was the big dude. Very well. But know that the gods will not hesitate to escort you from the premises, should they judge your actions to be inappropriate. It is settled then. You should all head to Senatus. I'll join you there after I see their excellencies safely to Tertium. Off to Senatus. Hey, it's my Porksy. Whee! Going the wrong way. Still going the... Oh. There's a lookout right here. I don't think I had earned lookouts when I was in Garlemald, so... Hey, it's Boreas, right? I think that's the name of this mount, is Boreas. I was watching something earlier that had Boreas, you know, in it. And like, I'm pretty sure that was the name for this mount, but I could be wrong simply because of that. But I feel like it was. Maybe not. Who knows? Hi, Primus. Here it is, Senatus, a temporary refugee for political dignitaries, hence the tight security. I am given to understand that outsiders are not normally permitted so much as a glimpse inside. We should consider ourselves fortunate to be given this opportunity. I hope it will be worth the trouble. As do I, Zero. As do I. Enter Senatus. Into Senatus. Ooh. Oh, it's another Tertium-like area. That makes sense, actually. It's another, like, train stop, basically. To begin, I would propose we split up and ask the residents for their views on the Ilsapar contingent and the current state of affairs. We would also do well to learn more about this enclave itself. Should you observe anything of note, pray keep it in mind. It is through open hearts and open minds that I believe we may yet convince their leaders to work with us for the greater good. Pile of crates. Should I really be looking through these, though? Stockpile of assorted supplies bears markings indicating that they are provided by the Ilsabard contingent. The Enclave is clearly reliant upon the Alliance for aid. Until they can rebuild, yeah. That's the unfortunate... Like, that's the most unfortunate part, honestly. Is that they are completely dependent on the Ilsabard contingent. So, like, it sucks. You want to know what I think? I'm a soldier. Try not to think about politics at all. I'll say this much. Our leaders labor to preserve our culture, our way of life. What remains of it, at any rate. I trust them to do what's best for Garlemald. Barrel of ceruleum. Considering it's a flaming liquid, it's really surprising that they can just stick them in standard barrels. We recognize the large cask as the very same you and your comrades used to transport ceruleum from Lapis Minalis. Why they are in Senatus is unclear. Interesting. They're the exact same ceruleum barrels that we used. How do I feel about the contingent? Conflicted, to say the least. I've been tasked with the distribution of supplies. And I know as well as any that we couldn't survive without outside aid. Be that as it may, even though the Empire has collapsed, we have our pride. People don't want to be beholden to others forever, and there's no denying that it chafes to see our benefactors occupying the Imperial Palace. Yeah, like I said, that's going to be a major thing, is like, we're going to basically give them the palace back, or something. Give them the Tower of Babel, and the palace, and whatnot. I think that's going to be a major factor here. Finished touring the Enclave, have you? What were you able to learn? Well, they want the tower back, for sure. The Imperial Palace. It's the same as me, then. They accept the contingent's help out of necessity and harbor a measure of resentment. They have only themselves to blame. That if they don't like the bargain, they should reject it. How many times must I tell you? It's absolutely out of the question. Whose voice was that? And what was that about? What's going on? We were wondering the very same. We came running when we heard shouting. Is aught the matter? No, I was just trying to explain. Mayhap you can clear this up. The contingent has made a reasonable request, but this man insists that it's impossible. It concerns the Magitech weapons which run rampant throughout Regio Urbanissima. Every time we deliver supplies here, we have to dispatch extra men to defend against potential attacks. To address the issue once and for all, we've proposed the elimination of all machina that loiter near the supply route. But you heard them, they refuse to even consider it. The magistrates have already spoken on this matter. Rampant or no, those war machina are Garlean assets. Furthermore, who is to say they are as dangerous as you attest? It has been suggested that this could be a pretense to scavenge Magitech material for your own ends. I know not if that is the case, but the fact remains, we cannot allow you to destroy them. More speculation by the magistrates, I presume. Ridiculous. But they have spoken, and unless we want to inflame tensions further, there's naught we can do. Zero has something. How complicated relationships become when not grounded in a clear and equitable arrangement. An equitable arrangement, of course. Well, do I understand the difficulty of your position. As a soldier, you must do your duty and obey your superiors. I have an idea, but I must first speak with Commander Lucia. May I take charge of this matter? By all means. Don't worry, they're fine folk. Let us return to Camp Broken Glass, where we might discuss the solution I believe will satisfy all parties. Alright. Off to Camp Broken Glass, then, I suppose. I don't think there's anything else worth bothering with here. So, just kind of looking around a little bit. But also, let's be honest, now is a good time to end the episode off at. So while Kassandra here takes a little bit of a snooze, I hope you've all enjoyed. If you have, feel free to subscribe. You can check the playlist if you want to get caught up on any episodes you might have missed. There is also a link down below to the, or in the video description, to both Discord and Patreon. It does help the channel out quite a bit. And you can come on out, hang out with us, chat, and all that. And let's go ahead and let Kassandra take a rest. So with that, I'll see you all next time. See you later.